Okay, welcome back to Wire Run Season 3, Episode 4. Let's get this episode going and press that play button. All right, welcome back to another episode of Wire Run TV. Thanks again for joining us, episode number 4 for Season 3. We hope you've had a great 7 days of running. We really appreciate the support and the feedback we got for last week's episode on the benefits of low heart rate running with guest coach Adzi Gordon. A lot of people gave us some good feedback and a lot of people made some comments about how much this is benefiting them in their own training. So if you're new to that, hopefully you've started to implement it and play the long game, play the patient game, and you'll see benefits in the next couple of months and years to come in your running career. So in this episode of Wire Run TV, we're going to be focusing on yoga and the benefits of a really simple basic yoga program and how that can really improve you as a runner. We've had a few people who've written into us and asked us questions about how do they actually begin? How do they bring yoga into their running program? Is it really beneficial? Is it going to be something which is going to improve them as a runner? So this episode is going to focus on a very simple, very basic yoga program where we'll explore 5 or 6 different yoga poses that are designed specifically for runners and that we as runners get the best from. We'll talk you through some of the benefits as well of yoga. So it's a very simple one. It's one that's going to take no time into your weekly schedule, but it's one that I think will have a great impact on you as a runner. So yoga has been around for thousands of years and it's become part of modern day culture, and it's also working its way into the modern day running culture as well. And I think there are a huge amount of benefits that you can get as a runner from bringing yoga into your weekly training program just for a couple of days a week. So there's 4 big benefits for me. Firstly is flexibility. Yoga gives us a huge amount of flexibility, and if we're more flexible as a runner, it means that we're going to be faster, we're going to be stronger, and also we're going to be less likely to pick up those niggling little injuries or long-term injuries as well. Secondly, yoga will provide us with a greater range of motion, particularly through our hips and through our running joints and things like that, which is going to make us, again, stronger and quicker, and also warding off injury as well. Thirdly, yoga will provide us with a very strong and very stable set of core muscles. Because we use our own body strength, we use our own body weight for yoga, we don't have to go to a gym. It really develops a very strong set of muscles and a very strong musculoskeletal system as well, which is beneficial for us as runners. And fourth and finally, and for me one of the big benefits of yoga, is the mindfulness aspect. It really is a chance, even just for 5 or 10 minutes, for us just to take some time for ourselves to focus on our breathing as well, to lower our stress levels. And it's great to put in at the end of training sessions or even on those recovery days as well. So there are huge benefits for bringing yoga into your running program, but they're the big 4 for me: flexibility, range of motion, muscular strength, and the mindfulness aspect. So I've asked Teresa along here today. She is a running enthusiast and she is a yoga enthusiast as well, and someone who's been putting yoga into her running routine for many, many years now. So she's going to take us through a couple of the basic and simple yoga poses that we can do to improve our running ability. First yoga pose here that Teresa is going to show us is the downward dog position. It's very well known and a very common one. Excellent for flexibility, excellent for lengthening the spine, and really good for giving us a bit of strength through our shoulders and through our upper body, which is something that a lot of runners don't focus on. So when we first try the downward dog, don't think that you have to straighten the legs to begin with. You can leave them unlocked, you can leave them unhinged. It's going to give us a bit of fluidity and a bit of range of motion through the ankles, and we can walk our calves as well to give us a bit of a dynamic stretch with this one. From the downward dog position, we can go straight into a plank hold as well. This is another great one for our upper body, for our shoulders, but it's really going to engage the core as well. So when you're doing this one, focus on engaging your core muscles. So with the plank position, make sure and focus on the fact that you should have your hands underneath your shoulders and that your fingers are facing forward. And once you've held this position for a little bit of time, focusing on your breathing as always, you can then lower down into the lower plank position as well. Now I found this one the hardest when I first started yoga. I found that once I started to go a little bit down, I couldn't even get down close to the ground, and that I would start to shake a fair bit. So only go down as far as you feel comfortable. Don't think you've got to go right down to the very ground where your chest is just a couple of centimeters above the ground. Just go down a little bit, and then as you do this week after week after week, you'll find you'll be able to go further and further down to the ground. You can put all three of these together as well, from the downward dog into the plank and down into the lower plank. And one of the great things with yoga, once you start to do it a bit more week after week, you start to feel the fluidity of it. You start to feel that you can put it together into a little bit of a routine. So those three go really well together. Downward dog into a plank, down into the lower plank, push yourself back up into downward dog again. Okay, so the next pose is called Child's Pose. This is one of my favorite ones. It's quite relaxing, this one, and it's one where you can really focus on your breathing, particularly if you've just gone from one of the plank positions. So with the Child's Pose, it's important with this one that you don't put your elbows on the ground, that you go from your hands, nice straight arms through to your shoulders. So this particular position is great for your hip flexors. It's also really good for your quads. And one thing to be mindful as well is that underneath your body, you should try and have your ankles flat on the floor. You should have your toes pointing behind you as well. And that's going to be great to give you some flexibility and some stretching through your calf muscles as well. So the next yoga pose we're going to show you is the warrior pose. Now this one is great because it really does focus on the obliques and it focuses on our groin muscles and our stabilizing muscles and things like that. Now we know as runners that so much of what we do is a forward and back motion, whereas this warrior pose is a lateral movement. So it's really going to help us to work on those muscles that maybe don't get a huge amount of improving when we're actually running. When you do these routines and when you do these poses for the first time, try not to think about a set amount of seconds or a set amount of minutes or time that you have to do these for. Just do whatever you feel is comfortable on each and every particular day. So for example, you might just do 2 or 3 breaths on one of these poses and then relax, and then 2 or 3 breaths on another pose and then relax again. Or on one particular day you might just focus, as I like to do, on the downward dog position. That's one that I just like to do at the end of a particular training session because I find it is really beneficial. So don't think that you have to do each and every one of these routines on every single day. Just do whatever you feel is comfortable and whatever you feel you're getting the most benefit from. Okay, so that's it for episode 4 of Wire Run TV. I really hope if you're new to yoga, this is something that you can work into your running program. I found after doing this for a couple of years that it really has given me an extra element. It's given me an extra part of my training that I love to look forward to. So yeah, have a go at these particular yoga poses. And as I said, maybe even just focus on the one that you find the easiest to begin with. If this is the first time that you've joined us on Wire Run TV, thanks very much for stopping by. If you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook, that would be great, or hit that like button. If you watch us each and every week, as always, we really do appreciate your support. It's great to get your feedback. Let us know what you think of this episode in the comments below, whether you liked it or whether you didn't, or whether you do yoga as part of your routine already. And whatever is coming up for the next 7 days of running, we hope you have a great time. Put a bit of yoga in there, put a bit of mindfulness, relax and enjoy your training for the next 7 days.